Hey guys, prevzzy here. I decided to make a quick video on this new THPS 1+2 demo. The game feels good, it's alright. It's not an underground title, it doesn't play the same as an old school Pro Skater game, in my opinion, but honestly, it feels like a THPS. It really does. There are so many things that are just done so correctly. I wasn't expecting Vicarious Visions to do such a good job. And I wasn't expecting myself to have such a good time playing this game. I've been playing pretty much non-stop since the release, and yeah, I'm having a blast. I'm gonna be talking about some high scoring related mechanics in this game. Some of them work completely differently to how I'm used to, which means they are just different to how Underground 2 was. But there are also some bugs, there are also some things that, in my opinion, should be tweaked a bit. Thankfully, there aren't many of them. The whoring or high scoring, whatever you call it, feels cool. I'm having a blast, as I said already. But yeah, I hope some of the things at least get pushed out before the release, or pushed out eventually, because like 2 weeks isn't much time probably. The first thing I'm gonna talk about is the balance, obviously. And believe me or not, the balance on this game is really hard. Both on manual and on grinds, and on leaps it's even harder. Like, I'm gonna talk about leaps separately because there's something wrong. Yeah, the grind balance and the manual balance is pretty much the same as in Underground 2 and American Wasteland, so I didn't have to relearn all that things I learned in Fight Pro about the balance. So it seems like Vicarious Visions really took their time to understand how the balance should work, and honestly, they kinda nailed it. The balance feels amazing. I'm glad that it's hard. Maybe that's because Tony's stats are just really low. He's like 6 out of 10 rail balance and 4 out of 10 manual, so that's definitely low. Yeah, I'm gonna go through some grind and manual balance mechanics, starting with grind balance. Let's start with double grind. Double grind is this thing. You grind, you jump off, and you grind again, and your balance teleports to a side a bit, and your grind balance in general also gets harder if you do this. So again, you grind, jump off, grind. And there's no way to cancel that second grind unless you grind another object. So you see, if I do this, I grind here, and I grind here again. See, that's fine. That's not a double grind. And on the other hand, if I do a wallplant, that's a double grind. See, it teleports. If I do a wallride, hold on, I can just go. Oh, see, that's a double grind too. And yeah, there's no other way of cancelling that double grind thing other than just grinding another object. There's also another type of double grind, and this is this thing where you don't jump off right away, but you still regrind the same object eventually. So you do this, you jump off, you grind again, the balance doesn't teleport, but it's still a double grind and your balance still gets worse, so yeah, that's a thing too. So if you have played Underground 2 for past few years like I did, you have probably noticed that there is one major difference in this game to compare to Underground 2 when it comes to double grind, because in Underground 2 this wouldn't be a double grind. This would be like 2 separate new grinds. I don't want to get into too much detail about balance in Underground 2 because I already did on a different video, but like, too long didn't read explanation is this part of this big rail is a different rail object than this part. So you can think of it like 2 separate rails almost. So that wouldn't be a double grind. And well, you can see that it is a double grind in this game. So that's a bit confusing to me because I had to adapt to this. And it also means that if I do this... Oh, hold on, that was too quick. If I do this and I just make my way here and grind here, that's a double grind too. So I'm kind of torn on this double grinding thing in this game, because I like how it works, and I like that you have to pay attention to whole objects now, not just the straight parts of rails to not regrind them. That's definitely a cool handicap, and I think it should stay for sure. But like, it also has me worried a bit, because imagine playing like Marseille, for example, and on Marseille there's this huge ball in the middle of the map with a huge rail wrapping around that ball. And if that rail is one huge object too, then I think that this may play really bad. Like this can be really annoying thing for everybody. Okay, next thing about grind balance, and this is exactly the same to Underground 2. If you do this and you go to another rail, the balance just resets a bit. I mean, it teleports or like goes back to the middle just a bit. So the further it is to a side, the more it will go back to the center. So an easy way of holding balance in THPS game, and I think that's not a thing that that many people realize, sadly. But the best way to hold your grind balance in this game is just to not move it at all with your left or right button, but just make sure you're never grinding for too long, and you are just always keeping the grind as short as possible. And this way you don't have to worry about your grind at all. That's all I wanted to say about grind balance, so now let's move to manual balance. And manual balance is exactly the same as it was in Underground 2. There's not a single difference that I have spotted. So first thing, I don't know if many people realize that, but there's this thing in THPS games that when you jump on a single manual, or like a manual with no grinds, wallplants, or wallrides in between, the manual balance gets significantly worse with every jump. So if I do this, yeah, you can see that the manual balance is really hard to manage after like 10 or I don't know how many jumps that was, but like I guess around 15. The thing is that the first two jumps don't account to that that manual penalty that you get for jumping on manuals. It's like if you do 2 manuals in a row, that's fine, but if you do 3, that's a penalty. If you do 4, that's a penalty. If you do 5, and so on, you get it. So this way, you can do things like 1, 2, 1, 2. And see, that's fine, that doesn't make any harm to my balance at all. And that's really great because this way you spend way less time on manual, and you still move like forward on the ground, so less time spent on manual balance, but that's still time spent in combo. Just make sure you never do like 3 manuals in a row and you're fine. another thing about this manual jumping penalty, and it's really weird, but that penalty doesn't work at all on special manuals. It's just you can do 20 manuals in a row, and as long as those manuals were like any special manual, you're fine. You're not getting any penalty for that. Like, take a look at that. So I'm using this special manual. Okay, so that's like twice as many jumps as I did before on the previous clip, and now watch my balance. It barely moves. It's like I just started a combo. So yeah, I think that this should be patched out, and I don't see any reason for it to exist in this game, because it was the same in Underground 2, and they fixed it in American Wasteland. I mean, I suppose they fixed it, because I assume that's a bug. So in American Wasteland, the special manuals would break your balance just as regular manuals. And yeah, that's broken if you ask me. Okay, last thing about manuals, and it's also the same as it was in Underground 2. I have no idea why this thing exists, but like, yeah, it's a thing. If you do pivots, then your manual balance just gets harder. I mean, it's hard to notice maybe on the video, but like, if you try this, you probably can tell that there is some difference. The last thing about balance in general, before I move to other things, the leap balance. And the leaps, man, there's just something wrong with it. I can't hold it for longer than 10 seconds. The leaps are so hard that I don't think I've ever seen a harder balance in any THPS game. It's almost like I'm using a mod for a hard leap balance, because grind balance is fine, manual balance is fine, and the leaps are just, I have no idea. And also, maybe you are wondering about speed leaps. So no, there are no speed leaps in this game. Okay, so that's enough about balance. The balance looks great, and apart from that special manuals thing, I think it should stay exactly the same as it is. It's honestly great. So now I'm gonna list my concerns, my other concerns about the final release. And well, the first thing is the inputs, and well, the inputs are my biggest concern by far. So if you have a special trick that's bound to up plus down plus flip or grab, then there's a huge probability that you are gonna misclick this special trick a lot if you're jumping on manual. What I mean by that, yeah, you see that? I'm not doing anything differently. At least I don't feel like I do. So I want to do like manual to manual, but with pop shovels in between. And also I'm using perfect manual balance for the clip, just so it's easier. So if I want to do this, pop shove it into pop shove it into pop shove it into pop shove it, of course that's gonna break my balance, but like that isn't my point here. Sometimes you can just do this trick instead, and it's almost consistent. Like, you see that? I have no idea what is that. And I know that some people also had the same problem with grinds, but honestly I haven't misclicked a single special out of grind, so I don't know about that. But I know that there's something wrong with it. It seems like the input listener doesn't get reset on manuals. I think that's what's happening. So if I do that really fast, I do up plus down plus 4 almost immediately, and I jump off, that's a D900. That shouldn't be a thing, for sure. And the other thing is, just let me unbind that. Yeah, whatever. The thing is that it's not even the special tricks alone that are like bugged or whatever. You can even do a double tap flips in the same way. So that's if I do down down plus flip, that's an ollie airwalk for me, and my single tap is pop shove it. So you see, I can do ollie airwalks out of it, and I'm not doing any different input. It's just when I'm clicking faster, it's like more consistent. So if I wait a bit, wait, hold on, I wait a bit, and that's fine. Even if I hold it, that doesn't seem to trigger ollie airwalk. So yeah, that's a huge issue for me, and I know that's a huge issue for a lot of people. So I hope that this is like the top 1 priority to be fixed before the final release of the game, because honestly, what that means is that all of the up plus down combinations are pretty much useless. Like, you can't use them because you're gonna misclick the special trick sooner or later when you're jumping on flat ground. So yeah, please fix. There's one more thing about the inputs that's really annoying, and it's clearly not working as it should be. The inputs for double tap flips, double tap grabs, and triple tap flips, these are all kind of bugged in the same way. So if I do double tap flip, that's fine. That's an ollie north backward flip, and the input for that is in my case it's right flip flip, so that works. But if I click, hold on, if I click right and flip 3 times, then see what happens. See, I do the same trick twice, although that's definitely not what I did with my inputs. And it doesn't even have any animation, the flips, see? But it's still like, it still takes time for that animation to happen. It's just that there's no animation happening. So yeah, it works with pretty much every double tap flip I've tried. Yeah, see? Yeah, that's bugged. And it works a little bit differently with grabs. So if I do a double tap grab, so for example a Christ air is right and grab, that's fine, like here. But again, if I click grab 3 times, then this happens. And there's animation for that second trick here, so I don't know, there's something wrong with it. And the triple tap flips are super bugged. Like, these aren't working properly at all. I have to click like 4 times to make it work, and of course if I click 5 times, then it does the triple tap flip twice. So an input for a triple tap flip is 4 taps. See, that was 3. That was 4. That works. I don't know. And again, I just spam it and it does the trick twice. The biggest thing I found in this demo, and I'm sure that's not gonna be in the final release of the game, because that wasn't a thing in like these teaser videos anywhere, or even the B-rolls that were uploaded to YouTube at some point. So you have probably noticed it already on somebody's clips. If I do a single tap grab and I not hold it at all, I still get points for that, as I was holding it. as if I was holding it. So again, see, I'm not holding it and I'm still getting points like I'm holding it. And initially I thought that's maybe how it works now, but I mean that wouldn't make much sense. But no, because it doesn't work like this at all with the double tap grabs. If I do a double tap grab, see, that's fine. I don't get points for that. So that's not the only thing about the grabs that's bug. I mean, the thing that's connected to this bug is something that's really broken right now. If I do this, I press the grab and I let go of it. I keep getting points for that grab until there's another trick on the trick string. So if I do this, if I bind any special manual, if I do a grab and not hold it, so I just do a single tap grab, release it, and then I'm gonna jump on special manual, well, you can imagine what happens. Yeah. Well, that's definitely bugged. Let's see that even works with grinds. And obviously that that grab bug doesn't work with special grabs. Now I'm gonna talk about reverts, because reverts in this game work in a very different way to what everybody's used to probably. And sadly, I don't think that's a bug. I don't think that's a thing that they made by an accident or not. Yeah, it kind of feels like the reverts, how they are just meant to be like this. So either way, if you are familiar with any THPS title that's not a RoboModo game, you should know about the concept of like reverts slowing you down after you do too many of them in a short amount of time. Yeah, you do revert again. I have very low speed right now. I do another one, that's the fourth one in this combo. Fifth, and the next one is gonna stop me pretty much. See, I've stopped basically. So this is a good thing. This is a thing that should be in this game, but there's a thing that's really making reverts completely useless in my opinion. Because in any game from Underground to I mean from Underground to American Wasteland, the reverts would take like 20 seconds to kind of recover. So obviously if you do one revert, that's not a terrible speed penalty, but if you do a next one, that's kind of bad, and it gets worse with every next one. So in every of these three games, it would work like you do a revert, the game starts 20 seconds timer, and if you don't do a revert in these 20 seconds, then you are like the revert penalty is taken away from you. It's like now I'm at 0 revert penalty, let's say. Now I'm at 1. Now I'm at 2, and so on. So if I wait like 40 seconds now, because I did one revert into another one, in any other game of from Underground to American Wasteland, that would put me back to 0 speed penalty for the next revert. So, well, you can probably guess where I'm going with this. The problem is that in this game, it's not happening. If you have played American Wasteland, maybe you are familiar with bird slides. And bird slides, whenever you do a bird slide in a combo, that would be a permanent revert penalty. That would be something that wouldn't start any timer, that would be just forever in your combo. So if I remember correctly, I did only 2 reverts, so technically I should be at 0 revert penalty kind of index, but I'm not. I'm still getting slowed down, and this is so annoying. I can't stress this enough. Like, this is making reverts completely useless for, well, a lot of game styles. Because, well, maybe not a lot of. What I have in mind is high scoring and like graffiti game mode. Like, I wish I could use reverts to form a line here in warehouse, because I have some strats involving reverts, but sadly it's basically like I have 5 reverts per combo, no matter how long it is, no matter what's the score. I have 5 reverts per combo and I can't do anything else. Yeah, I think that this revert change is bad for everybody, regardless of experience in THPS series, regardless of your preferred game style. This is a thing that I'm pretty sure that many people will get annoyed at some point. Because like, it doesn't make any sense. I can't think of a single positive thing that this brings to a gameplay. This is not a handicap or anything. I can, like, from my perspective, I can still create a line that's well good on balance and good on base and multiplier. I can still do like 5-minute combo, get like 100 million points. It's just that I know the reverts are in this game, so I would rather use them instead of like using wallrides all the time. So I don't know. I can live with this change, but I just don't see the point of it. Okay, so now that I listed my biggest concerns, that's inputs, the grabs, and the reverse, I'm gonna talk about things that are less relevant, but are kind of still important to me. So, wallrides. Wallrides are really fun in this game. They work well. They are viable strats. The speed seems right. They are not very buggy. This thing is super cool. While you like launch yourself from a wallplant to wallride. You do a wallplant in a corner, you do a wallride, and you launch yourself in the air. That's super fun. But yeah, there's one thing that's super annoying about wallrides, and that's wallrides out of grinds. Because jumping left and doing wallride doesn't work at all. You always do a wallplant, and I'm kind of curious if that's connected to that input issue that I mentioned before. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But either way, I can't... Oh, see, that was good. So, you can do things like that in this game, but this is so inconsistent. Like, this is so super rare for me to happen, to do that correctly. Like, the input is either so specific or just so super random that it's really hard to understand. So, yeah, you see, and now I have very low speed, because it's there. Like, you see that you can get a wallride out of a grind, so that's a thing in this game. So I just hope that this is more consistent, that you can use wall plants, I mean wallrides like this in a combo, and get some like huge airtime out of it. Okay, next thing. There is no multiplier cap on tricks. And what I mean by that is that you always get +1 multiplier by a trick use, and that's a really bad thing, in my opinion. So, in Underground to American Wasteland, there was this thing that you could use like you could use a single trick 10 times in a combo effectively, and every next use would be like kind of an empty use that you wouldn't get much out of it. So basically you use a trick, use it again and again and again and again. You do this 9 times, that's 9 multiplier, and you do this for the 10th time, that's another half multiplier. So you end up at 9.5 multiplier for that trick, and that's it. And regular tricks are not the same as switch tricks. So if I do a switch kickflip, that's not the same as a regular kickflip. And yeah, this isn't a thing in this game, which honestly sucks. Because, well, paying attention to what tricks you're using in your combo and like on what stance you're using them is super crucial in other games, and this is making the game significantly harder. I mean, to get good at, to get really good at, because it's not only the muscle memory, it's not only the like the balance you have to keep in mind of. It's literally every single move you make, every trick you have. If you want to have the most effective line or the most effective combo, you have to use all of the tricks, and you have to change them a lot. So let's say that I'm at like 5 minutes in the combo right now, and I just want to raise my multiplier. I don't care about my base points, I just want to raise my multiplier. So I can do this. Oh, okay. I can do this. I just spam my kick flips because they are the shortest. And I will always get +1 multiplier. So yeah, that sucks. That wasn't a very good demonstration of what I had in mind, but I hope you understand. And even worse, if you combine that with special manual, well, you can do this. And that's pretty much infinite multiplier, because it's really hard to bail at special manual if you're jumping like that. Yeah, I hope that that the multiplier cap gets added to this game, because that would definitely raise the like the skill cap in high scoring. Next thing that's a bit annoying, and it's definitely a bug, is that you are not getting your stance switched if you are doing 180 between the grinds. And it only works on grinds. See, I'm doing 180 all the time, my stance is the same between the grinds. And on the other hand, if I do that on the ground, yeah, that changes. It seems like there is no late ollie to a side in this game, and by late ollie I mean jumping off a rail, but like kind of when you're already out of a rail. So let me show you. Yeah, see, that was way after the rail ending. I've jumped like from around here, I think. So this thing is fine. This is like how it used to be in the previous THPS games. So that's really cool. Like the minor things like that really make this game. But there is a problem with that, because you can do that when you're holding like either left or right. So, well, you can do that, but I'm not jumping to a side. I'm still jumping forward. So here, I'm holding left, late ollie, and I'm jumping forward. Well, here I got bumped by the the next rail, so that doesn't count. Like here again, holding right, jumping out, and I'm still going forward. So this is maybe a small thing, but like it really limits your movement sometimes. And in some cases, the late ollies like that are really cool to mess around with. Like if there was a late ollie to a side right here, I could do a wall plant on this wall here and jump here, and I would have a lot of speed for sure. So I could do some kind of air right here, but I can't. Okay, this thing is kind of hard, and it's well, almost irrelevant, because that doesn't really seem like a real like gameplay situation. Like if I do this, what? Okay, okay, I guess that's a bug. Well, that's the first time that this happened to me. Well, okay. Next thing may look like a only visual bug, but it's actually not. So if you do a wall ride and then you spin that wall ride, in a sense, like you jump off a wall ride and you start spinning in air. So if you in that air without touching the ground, if you do a wall plant, the spins from wall ride reset and are like being accounted again from after that wall plant. So I don't know if that's clear enough, so I'm just gonna show you. See, either. Yeah. I did 540 spin after the wall ride, and it got reset once I did the wall plant. See, the same thing, and it's not only a visual bug, because if I do a special trick, or like I think any trick would work, but like special tricks do give kind of a lot of base, so that's easy to spot. So if you do a special trick in that gap between like wall ride and wall plant, that base will get subtracted from your base points. So that my base points went down by like 500. So yeah, that's a bug. Next thing, gaps, or well, one gap in particular, and that's the over the pipe gap. See, it works fine this way, but it can be bugged, and I will show you how. You do this, and you just go back, and you get the gap again for no reason. I don't know if that's like something that can be exploitable. I don't know if there are many gaps that can be exploited in such way, or it's just this one gap in particular that's bugged, but yeah, that's bugged. Okay, last thing I'm gonna talk about regarding gameplay is that you can rebind the entire trick set mid-combo, and that includes special tricks, so it's a bit broken, I guess, but that's not a huge concern, because that's only a single player thing for sure. Like, there's no way that you could do this in multiplayer, so that's not gonna be annoying to anyone. But yeah, technically what that means is that you can do a combo where you use every single special that's in this demo thing. So to do this, you pause your game, you do this, rebind this to this, and boom, you have a new special in your trick set. Now I'm gonna talk about some more keyboard specific things, so if you are not a keyboard player, then you probably haven't experienced things like this. So the first thing is that there are no control buttons, no camera control buttons on keyboard. Yeah, that's about it. It sucks because I would definitely want to look around this level. The second thing is, and it's really annoying for some people I know, if you bind your fast spin left shift, or maybe not even this one in particular, maybe this would work too. Let's see. Yeah. So if you have probably anything bound to left shift, you can't use your numpad at all. You can't use your this part of keyboard I'm clicking right now. You see, I'm holding left shift. I'm spamming my numpad, and nothing's happening. I can grind, and there's definitely something wrong with it. And when it comes to controls, I kind of wish that they were a little bit more customizable. They are fine. I bound pretty much everything that the way I wanted, but like I know some people have like some more like custom type of inputs that they are used to because of Underground Pro. So the only thing that I find annoying a bit in this controls menu is that you can't bind a revert to either fast spin left or fast spin right, and that's not a huge thing. Like anyone can get used to different settings. So yeah, I just wish that it was a little bit more flexible. Okay, last thing I'm gonna talk about. The spins, because there is a thing that I didn't manage to check out. I couldn't find a way of spinning at 1080 on this map. So in any THPS game, I think any THPS game, the maximum spin that you would still get points for, like additional points for spin, would be a 900, so like 5 times 180. And it looks like it works the same in this game. However, I have no way of confirming if, well, maybe you can still get points for like 1080 spin or 1260 and so on. So, yeah, I didn't check this out. If you can get points for 1080 spins, well, I guess that's cool a bit. Just a bit different to how it was, but it also means that the higher you get, like the more points you will get anyways, so you don't have to like limit yourself to spinning only 900s. Yeah, that's about it for the video. That was the last thing that I wanted to talk about. I hope that some of those things I mentioned somehow get to be patched, like eventually when the full game comes out, because some of them are, well, I would say game-breaking bugs, like that input or a grab bug. I also hope that reverts get fixed or like at least tweaked a bit. And yeah, I'm having a blast playing this game anyways, so I'm just hoping that it gets even better, because right here it's like a solid THPS title again after so many years. I'm not gonna say that it's like the best game ever, or like the best THPS title, but it's like the comeback to how it should be, kind of. So yeah, if anybody watched this entire video, well, huge props, because I probably wouldn't do that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and see you.